Speech does not begin when expected. There is a pause before the first word. The pause is brief. It is noticeable. Hands rise, then stop. A gesture starts and does not complete. Fingers hold position in the air. The motion resumes late. Eyes shift away, then return. The mouth opens, then closes. A sentence begins, then resets. The first words are repeated. In conversation, responses arrive after a gap. The gap appears after a direct prompt. Others finish speaking. Silence follows. The speaker nods once. The nod does not lead to speech. Another nod follows. Speech comes later. During exchanges, timing slips. Turns are missed. Interjections arrive after the moment has passed. The topic has already moved. When asked for input, there is stillness. The stillness lasts a few seconds. Breathing is visible. No words yet. A hand reaches toward an object. The hand stops halfway. The object remains untouched. The hand lowers. Facial movement lags behind conversation flow. Expressions form slowly. They arrive after the statement has landed. They do not align with the moment. The speaker adjusts posture, shifts weight, clears the throat, waits. In group settings, others fill the space. Another voice enters. The original speaker withdraws slightly. Speech follows, but later. Sentences are revised aloud. Words are replaced mid-phrase. The structure restarts. The delivery slows. Questions receive delayed answers. The delay repeats across exchanges. It appears consistent. It is not isolated. The pattern shows in small movements, in timing, in gaps between action and completion, in the space before response. Nothing dramatic occurs. No interruption is announced. No explanation is given. Only delay. The behavior is quiet. It does not demand attention. It accumulates across moments. It remains visible. Recognition forms without clarity. The pauses remain. The delay does not occur once. It repeats. It appears in brief exchanges. It appears in extended conversations. The timing shifts in the same way. In one-on-one settings, the pause remains. The other person finishes speaking. The response arrives late. The gap is predictable. In groups, the pattern holds. Speech begins after another voice has entered. The moment has passed. The response follows anyway. During informal talk, the behavior stays intact. Words hesitate before forming. Gestures stall mid-motion. Completion comes after delay. In structured discussions, the same timing appears. Turns are missed. Contributions arrive out of sequence. The flow continues without adjustment. When attention is focused elsewhere, the delay persists. When attention is directed at the speaker, the delay persists. The setting changes. The behavior does not. The pattern shows in small decisions. It shows in neutral moments. It shows when stakes are low. It shows when stakes are undefined. There is no sudden failure, no visible breakdown, only repetition. The pauses do not shorten with familiarity. They do not disappear with comfort. They remain consistent across time. Gestures begin and stop in the same way. Speech resets mid-sentence in the same way. Responses trail prompts in the same way. Observers adapt. They fill the silence. They move forward. The delay is absorbed into the interaction. The speaker does not announce the pause. The pause is simply there. Again, the behavior does not intensify. It does not resolve. It stabilizes. Across days, the pattern remains intact. Across conversations, the pattern remains intact. Across roles, the pattern remains intact. This is not a single moment. It is a recurring structure. Recognition sharpens through repetition. Understanding does not arrive. The delay is given a favorable label. It is called thoughtfulness. The pause is framed as careful consideration. The silence is framed as restraint. The slowed timing is framed as intention. Observers interpret the gap as processing. They assume evaluation is taking place. They assume precision is forming before release. The halted gesture is read as control. The stopped hand is read as discipline. The unfinished motion is read as deliberation. Speech that restarts is labeled refinement. Mid-sentence revision is labeled clarity seeking. Slowness is labeled accuracy. This interpretation sounds responsible. It aligns with social norms. It carries no stigma. Care is praised, caution is rewarded, measured response is valued. The label reduces tension in the interaction. It explains the delay without friction. It reassures observers. The speaker may accept this framing. The pause becomes a sign of seriousness. The delay becomes evidence of standards. Others adjust around it. They wait longer. They fill space when needed. The behavior continues under this description. No alarm is triggered. No correction is expected. The mislabel holds because it fits the surface. It accounts for silence. It accounts for slowness. It accounts for revision. The explanation settles quickly. It closes inquiry. It prevents inspection. The framing remains stable over time. It feels accurate. It feels mature. Because the name sounds virtuous, it is rarely questioned. Because it sounds intentional, it is rarely examined. The behavior remains unchanged. The label remains intact. Recognition pauses here. The pattern receives a single exact label. It is hesitation. This term refers to timing, not intention, not attitude. Hesitation is the delay that follows a cue, a pause where movement is expected, a gap where response should already be underway. Speech does not fail, it arrives late. Movement does not stop, it completes after interruption. Replies are not withheld, they trail the exchange. Hesitation marks the interval between readiness and execution. It occupies that interval repeatedly. The name does not elevate the behavior. It does not excuse it. It does not condemn it. It describes sequence. Hesitation is visible before words, before gestures finish, before answers land. It appears as a pause that exceeds the moment, a restart that follows initiation, a completion that misses its timing. This label removes the protective framing. No refinement implied, no care implied, only delay. Hesitation does not require interpretation to be seen. It shows itself in timing alone, again and again. The word does not explain. It does not resolve. It fixes the pattern in place, clear, bounded. Once named, the behavior is no longer blended with virtue. It stands apart from intention, apart from meaning. The sequence remains unchanged. The name remains accurate. Nothing else is added. The pattern is now exposed. It remains active. Nothing has shifted. Nothing has corrected itself. The pause still appears between prompt and reply. The gap still forms before action completes. Timing remains unchanged. Attention has been directed at the behavior. The behavior continues. The delay does not resist scrutiny. It does not disappear under observation. It persists. Each instant stands alone. Together they accumulate. No single pause explains the pattern. No single exchange carries weight. Only repetition does. The name does not alter the timing. It only sharpens awareness. What the delay erodes is not announced. What it reshapes is not visible yet. Nothing dramatic occurs. The behavior operates below confrontation, below comment, below urgency. The pauses continue to occupy their space, between readiness and response, between intention and execution. No outcome is stated here. No direction is offered. The pattern remains intact, observed, ongoing. The tension stays where it belongs.